Hi everyone, I'm Jose Tello Fragoso, a student from Tech Milenio from the Veracruz campus, and I'm going to talk about the Cold War. This was a conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union after the Second World War was finished. Some of the main dates were May 1945. Near the close of World War II, the uneasy wartime alliance between the United States and Great Britain on the one hand and the Soviet Union on the other hand began to unravel. In 1948, the Soviets had installed left-wing governments in the countries of Eastern Europe that had been liberated by the Red Army. And between 1947 and 1948, the Cold War was solidified when the United States made the Marshall Plan. This means they helped economically to the Western Europe countries, and Soviets installed populist regimes in Eastern Europe. The term Cold War was proposed by George Orwell to refer to a two or three monstrous superstates, each possessed of a weapon by which millions of people can be wiped out in a few seconds. That's what he said in an article published in 1945. At those times, the capitalism and socialism played a very important role. Let's know a little bit about them. Capitalism is an economic system in which government plays a secondary role. People is the major owner of the companies and terrains inside their country and decides which decisions to take around their property. This means that the major part of the production is private. Adam Smith was the first one to propose the capitalism to the society. Then we go to socialism, an economic system in which everyone in that country owns the factors of production. The four factors of production are labor, entrepreneurship, capital goods, and natural sources. It basically says that depending on how much do you work is how much you will receive back. In socialism, three main names appear. Henry de Saint-Simon as the father of the socialism ideal, Ferdinand Lassalle as the creator of the social democracy, and Karl Marx, a name we already know, and it is recognized as the founder of the scientific socialism. While doing this presentation and research, I decided to make an interview to a parent of my family. It is my great-grandmother, Luz Blasina Renteria, an 86-year-old woman. I'm going to read what does the PowerPoint presentation says because I wrote this after the interview I did to her. Before I started the interview with her, I wanted to make sure if she really remembered something about these events, and surprisingly for me, she does. Maybe she isn't someone expert on history, but she has a great point of view from a Mexican citizen. Blasina was a young woman who lived constantly terrified about other nations attacking Mexico. And finally, when it all finished, 3 years later, another fight with nuclear weapons emerged, and she expressed me how some American friends of her felt worried about needing to fight again. She told me that since she has memory, the United States has been always a big power in the world, with the capability of making any other country kneel down on their feet. Since many past years, we all know that the United States is a country that always wants to be on the top, never wants to be behind another one, and as the Soviet Union had a big part of Europe at those times, they wanted to get bigger and started to help the western part of Europe. Maybe if the United States never had these big and power ideals, maybe the Cold War will never start at those times. To finish this presentation, I'm going to give my opinion about capitalism and socialism as economic ways to rule a country. For me, socialism and communism are mostly the same. What they basically do is that no matter how mentally strong or prepared you are, you will receive the same as the other person receives. And for me, that's bad in a community. For me, to rule a country, it is important to give to everyone what they deserve depending on how much prepared they are and how smart they are. Imagine you having cursed secondary school and you want to have the same privileges as a high school person has. The other people won't feel this is fair enough. And as my house works, we all take care of our things and don't let others make the work for us. That's how communism or populism works.